What's up guys, this is Reis and welcome to another video where today I'm going to be taking you through my top 5, my best 5 Johto Cup teams, and of course this is subjective. I spent about an hour or two, maybe an hour and a half, just kind of playing around with the PV Poke team builder in the Johto Cup meta, the second region of course, in kind of the Pokemon series. And I was playing around and found some good teams that I think you guys will enjoy and that you can use in your upcoming Johto Cup shenanigans. 5 teams to be exact. I was watching Love is Blind on Netflix while I was doing this. It's a very entertaining show. It's kind of interesting. Like, you don't even see the person. You're just kind of talking. You build an emotional connection. And people propose to each other without ever seeing the other person. How crazy is that? Could you imagine proposing to someone without seeing them first? Kind of wild. But enough of love, because it's time for the Love Cup to go away, and it's time for Johto Cup to make an appearance as we get to the end of the GBL season 10. If you guys want to make a last push to Legend, this is the week to do it, or whatever your goal is, right? Whether it's Ace, whether you're just trying to hit your Elo and you're just trying to get the battles in, that's a goal, like 2,000, or whether it's Ace, Veteran, Expert, etc. Or if you're like me and you're trying to push as high in the leaderboard as possible, it's something everybody can take something from. And we're just, if you're wondering where I'm going, we're just going to pvpoke.com, and we are going to, let's take a look at the rankings first. So if we go to rankings, we can go up here and go down to Johto Cup, and we're going to immediately get a look at what Pokemon have the most good matchups in the meta. The score is from 0 to 100, with 100 meaning like it beats pretty much everything. Skarmory is the top ranked Pokemon. You see some meta picks like Lantern. Shadow Raikou at number 3, a bit of a spicy Pokemon you don't typically see, but looks like it has a lot of play. Azu, of course. Shadow Meganium, Quillfish, Wobbuffet, and so on. And when you go down here, you can start to find some like more spicy picks that we can see. But the first team has already been on the screen. Spoiler alert. So team number 5, we're going to count down from 5 to number 1. Not necessarily in an order of worst to best or best to worst, just kind of my top 5 teams that I came up with over the course of an hour. And we're also going to look based off the team build. If you didn't see where I went, I just clicked the 3 bars up here, went to Team Builder, and we can change it from Great League to the Johto Cup meta. And we're going to plug in team number 1, which is Quagsire, along with Quill God, as I like to call him or her, and Skarmory. And I feel like this team kind of makes sense because Quagsire is really only weak to grass in the lead, and Quagsire I think is going to be quite a big core breaker in this meta. It seems like a lot of teams are going to be double weak to it, in my opinion, just as I was trying to put some teams together. So Quagsire in the lead with Quillfish as a safe swap and Skarmory back if you run into like a grass lead. For the grades, we got A for coverage, C for bulk, B for safety, and B for consistency. And we look at the top potential threats. Look, this is always good when you know that you have one Pokemon at least that beats everything. So that's always really helpful for the Matrix, for the Sims. Potential threats. The top threat is Skarmory, and our team's not even that weak to Skarmory. Like, we've got a neutral answer in our own Skarmory. Quagsire, I wouldn't think that matchup is that bad. If we click on it, it'll take us to that matchup. So Skarmory wins pretty comfortably, but oh wait. Okay, yeah, Skarmory wins comfortably in most shield scenarios, except for the 0 shield. It looks like Quag actually wins because the Skarmory's Brave Bird will not KO, and Quag will get off 2 Stone Edges, which will each do almost half. So looks like Quag can actually win the 0 shield. But it makes sense. It's a positive matchup for Skarmory because you're going to be resisting the mud shots and dealing neutral damage yourself. Oh man, how do I get back? Right there. I'm using Google Chrome as the browser instead of Safari, and it's tripping me out. But yeah, Skarm I don't see being too much of a problem. And then Raikou, I don't see it being that much of a problem either. It has the filled in circle, which kind of means it's more of a hard counter to these two. But if you swap in your Quillfish and they swap in the Raikou, Raikou's going to have a tough time beating that Quillfish. I mean, the Aqua Tails are really going to chunk. Like, let's look at that matchup. See if it works here. Oops. Was that the right one? Yep. So, yeah, Raikou going to win all even shields. What if we give... let's say they're a little slow to swap and we give Quillfish like a 3 Poison Sting head start. Does that make any difference? Look at that. Now, Raikou loses the 0 and loses the 1 because a Sludge Wave pretty much would one-shot. 86%. Each Poison Sting is doing like 2%. So, yeah, Quillfish, I mean, it's so spammy. You get that little bit of an energy lead, and it is going to put in some work for you. So, yeah, that's team number 5. I think it could have a lot of play. And we will go on to team number 4, which is Ariados, who a lot of you have been using in the Love Cup, a very solid Pokemon. Azumarill. Oh my gosh, Reis, you're including Azumarill in the video? Yeah, bro. These are the top 5 teams, and people are looking to climb. I do have a spicier team coming up later, though. Ariados, Azumarill, and Raikou. We are going to rate the team. A for coverage, B for bulk, C for safety, and B for consistency. And I like going down to the potential threats. And Quagsire, the number 1 threat, makes sense. Ariados, not going to have a fun time against Quag. You're going to have to expend multiple shields to try and get rid of it. Azu will do fine. It says Quag beats Azu, but I think that would probably be a dependent matchup, like based off what moves you land. And because like the Azu's normally not going to shield. It's not letting me go to the matchup for some reason, but that's all right. Lantern is, I don't think it's much of a problem because Azu, yeah, Azu gets kind of hard countered by it, but Raikou, I think beats it pretty easy because you just over farm, and assuming it's a Spark Lantern, like you're not taking virtually any fast move damage. You're only worried about the Hydro Pump, and you're going to outpace the thing to hard-hitting Wild Chargers. I don't think that's much of an issue. And Lantern, pretty neutral against Ariados. Opposing Ariados would be a little tricky because it's going to hard beat Azu if it's running Cross Poison. And Raikou will be able to get shields from it, but we'll get outpaced to Cross Poisons. And then, of course, you've got your own Ariados to neutralize it. What else we got? Piloswine, Steelix. Steelix would be tough for sure, yeah. Steelix would definitely be a core breaker in the lead. So maybe you actually run Azu to, if you're sealing Steelix leads. But the reason I think Ariados makes sense as the lead is because your backline is double weak to grass. So you can use Azu to lure out like the Meganium, for example, clean up with Ariados, and then have Raikou sweep him back. So that's the thought process there. And another solid team for you to try in the Johto Cup. And let's go straight to team number 3. I mentioned it in another one of these types of videos. It's like Animal Planet Most Extreme. We're just cranking through. And we've got Lantern, our friend. It seems like most of these teams, like the top threats, become the next team. And Porygon 2 I have in here. And you might be thinking this is absolutely insane, but it's a pretty good save swap. It's not going to look that great in the sims and the rankings, but if you get an energy head start with Lock-On, it generates energy so fast, and also Tri-Attack has that 50% debuff chance. Oh, no. No, Reis. Oh, my God. It's too late to fix it, guys. It's too late. Sue me if you want. But Porygon 2's moveset on the graphic is still Azu's moveset. Unbelievable. I'll send every one of the 10,000 of you, hopefully, that watch this, a handwritten apology in the mail. Comment your address. Just kidding. Don't do that. Don't put your address on the internet. There could be scammers out there. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. Porygon 2's moveset should be what it says here. Lock on, Tri Attack, Zap Cannon, not the Asu moveset on the graphic. Someone is for sure going to comment about the incorrect graphic moveset. But we lock this in. We've got A for coverage. We've got B for bulk. D for safety, and B for consistency. And Jumpluff and Lantern, I was just kind of trying to plug in cores in this team builder. And check this out. If we even take out Porygon 2 here, which is really just the safe swap, if we just do Lantern and Jumpluff, it's an A by themselves. A for coverage, A for bulk, with a threat score of 511. And the only Pokemon that beats this core is Kingdra, apparently, and that's probably bait dependent with like baiting the Octazooka and landing the Outrage. So this Lantern Jumpluff core with the new Community Day move Acrobatics is extremely strong, and I have Porygon 2 as the safe swap, but if you find another Pokemon is better as a safe swap, you can feel free to plug that in as well. I personally am kind of a fan of Porygon 2 just because it's fun to use. It's a little spicy. It is glassy, but it can wreak a lot of havoc. And we look at the potential threats, and although the threat score is actually like way better without Porygon compared to with Porygon, which is kind of funny how that works. We've got at least one answer to everything. Ariados is the top threat. We got Lantern that beats it, and honestly, it says it hard counters Porygon, but that's not really true, especially if you get a debuff with a Tri-Attack and you're ahead on lock-ons. Definitely not a hard counter. Maybe like a soft counter, you could argue. Steelix would be tough. Yeah, Steelix. It looks like Steelix has been a core breaker for 2 of our teams, so maybe Steelix is going to be worth running. Jumpluff, yeah, we've only really got neutral counters for it. Wobbuffet, you're probably not going to see that many Wobbuffets, but yeah, I guess Jumpluff is really our only solid answer, but Lantern could probably hold its own. And Piloswine. Piloswine would be a core breaker for sure, because it's gonna with those powder snows, it's gonna do work against Jump, and then with its ground typing, gonna resist the sparks from Lantern. So that is team number 3 for you. We got 2 teams remaining, and here we go. Team number 2. I call this team the Bulky Boys. They're like a boy band. They need to release a song. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. Anybody remember that from That's So Raven? My same age group range that watched that show growing up. Anyway, we're going off the rails, ladies and gents. And this team, look at this. A for coverage, A for bulk, C for safety, and A for consistency. Very bulky team. 3 fairly meta picks with Meganium, Noctowl, and Umbreon. I think this could be a really effective team. Piloswine, again, is the top threat. But to be honest, like, if you sneak in a move with Meganium, you probably win this matchup. It's not taking me to the matchup for some reason. It's being funky. It's being funky. What if I'll go back here. Oh, it was loading. That's so weird. So yeah, Piloswine gonna win all even shields. Check this out. Call me Dark Magician. I'm gonna give 1 Vine Whip advantage to Meganium, and look at that, boom! It completely flips. And the reason for that is because the pacing of Piloswine and Meganium is the same. Powder Snow to Avalanche, same pacing as Vine Whip to Frenzy Plant. You can see Powder Snow, 8 energy, Vine Whip, 8 energy, Frenzy Plant, 45 energy, Avalanche, 45. So the pacing's the same. Pylo is going to win CMP because of the higher attack stat, 121 to 111. 1 Vine Whip head start is going to flip this matchup. So Not necessarily like, oh my god, they have a pile of swine, I lose. I think it still is playable, even though that's the top counter. Skarmory, the reason for kind of this team comp is if you see a Skarmory in the lead, you can swap in a Noctowl. Noctowl's still not great there, but it can hold its own. It's bulky enough to take a Sky Attack very comfortably. Can probably even tank a Brave Bird. And the Shadow Balls are going to chunk, so if you swap in the Noctowl and they stay, and you chip it enough where Umbreon can just take it out, then Meganium might have a lot of playing back. So yeah, Skarm lead would be tough if you're leading the Meganium. Or you could even lead the Umbreon if you want and safe swap Noctowl. That could work as well. Because that way, if you see an Azu lead, you can safe swap your Noctowl and then maybe win back switch and then Meganium aligned with Azu. So yeah, some more thoughts there. Mantine, one of the bigger threats, but like all three have neutral play against Mantine. I mean, even if it's wing attack, like Meganium's frenzies are still gonna hurt. So yeah, solid team there. Lots of bulk. And you're probably gonna grab some wins. 4 teams down, and the #1 team in this video, according to Reis, subjectively, in the Johto Cup. Lots of like qualifiers. Is this team I came up with Crobat, Hitmontop, and Steelix. Look how menacing Steelix looks, by the way. Hitmontop is doing a little kick handstand like he does. And then our boy Crobat, we know, is always fun to use. Let's plug this one in last but certainly not least. Crobat, Hitmontop. This seems like a little bit spicier too, right? So could be kind of fun to try it out. I think it has really good coverage. I think these 3 Pokemon cover each other really well, right? Because think about it. What's Crobat weak to? Electric and Steel. Steelix is a ground type. It's going to cover Electric really well. Hitmontop is a fighter. It's going to beat Steel. What's Steelix weak to? I guess water. A lot of the water users are also like Mud Boys, ground types, which are going to struggle against the flying Crobat. Hitmontop weak to Fairy, weak to Poison, which the other 2 are going to cover really well. So I think this team makes a lot of sense. I personally will probably try it out, at least for a few sets. Top threat is Azu, but Crobat does fine against Azu, in my opinion. And that's kind of the structure of the team. You lead the Crobat, so that way if you lose lead, you can safe swap Hitmontop, which will probably lure out the Azumarill if they have one. And Stone Edge is still going to hurt Azu, so Azu's going to have to expend energy, and then Crobat can clean it up, and then hopefully Steelix can put in some work in back. So I don't think an Azu is really the end of the world. It has Azu beating Crobat in the 1s and the 2s. I guess it makes sense, right? Because the Ice Beam is going to do a lot more than the Poison Fang. Ice Beam does over half. Poison Fang only does 24%. So yeah, I guess, interestingly enough, I guess the Azu matchup isn't that great for Crobat. If we give Crobat like a sneak, does that change anything? No, not really. Yeah, so I guess Azu would be difficult, but to be honest, you could probably play out the 0, because it looks like Crobat wins the 0 shield. And then you could just try and get shield advantage, counter down with Hitmontop, and boom. Maybe that's the best way to play out that. So, yeah, Azu, a little bit tough for sure for this team. Let's see what else. Mantine, if it's wing attack, a little tough, but like Steelix does fine. Noctowl, I don't see being that much of an issue because Hitmontop, like, it's not comfortable in the slightest for Noctowl because you got to respect the moves coming out of Hitmontop. Jump Bluff, Steelix, I mean, that matchup's pretty neutral. Crobat is going to hard wall it. Got to respect the acrobatics now, though, with that new move. Raikou, yeah, kind of the same sort of thing, right? You got a hard counter for it with Steelix. Hitmontop pretty neutral, and then Crobat would definitely struggle against Raikou since the air slashes are resisted. And, yeah, man. Another team, a 560 threat score. Pretty solid team. So that is pretty sick. If you ask me, 5 teams in this video you can potentially use for Johto Cup that I think will help you gain some points. And hopefully you can use to reach your goal in this final week of the season. And also, as we're closing out the video, if you made it this far, I appreciate you immensely. And we are going to shout out a Sylph tournament that is coming up. It is the Guardian Cup this month, and I've got a tournament with one of my local servers I'm going to help promote. The Thunderdome. We did one 2 months ago, and we got so many people to join. A lot of people were confused on how to make a Sylph account, how to join. So all you do is you go to sylph.gg. I'm not going to log in and give you my information, but you would go here to authenticate or to create an account, sign in right here. Just click these 3 dots. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty easy. And I will leave the link to the tournament and hopefully to the Discord for communication of the tournament as well in the description. But yeah, all that said, hope you guys enjoyed this content featuring some of the best Johto Cup teams you can use. If you did enjoy, make sure to smash that like button. Comment down below. All comments help us out. Share this video with your friends, with your dentist, with your doctor, with that cute girl across the street, with your neighbor, and with the ice cream salesman. Share it with all of them. They might enjoy, and it might help us get to 30,000 subscribers, our nearest milestone. All that said, it's been fun. It's been real. And I hope to see you again in the next one. Peace.